your forecast first. Sponsored by Matex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
On this Thursday early evening, we do have cloudy skies as well as rain showers moving through parts of the area. Expecting a bit more overnight tonight, though, with some showers and storms. Mild, though, with temperatures in the 50s, 53 degrees in Lincoln as well as in Champaign, 56 in Springfield, 61 in Taylorville, and 68 degrees in Effingham. But you've got 43 for the temperature currently in Watsika. You've got cloudy skies as well as the rain showers hitting the lens on our retro weather camera overlooking Champaign on our roof and dog eye net with winds that are generally coming in out of the south, but you've got them out of the north in some spots as well. Soon to find that there is a boundary drift across pretty much the half of the viewing area. So for the rest of the forecast tonight, cloudy skies with some rain showers, and we are talking about more in the way of some storms over the next few days as well. WCIA 3 News starts right now.
Now from WCIA 3 News.
We are quite literally in the middle of a battle to save your life.
As the number of coronavirus cases rise in the state, the governor says some relief is coming. Kidnapper and killer Brent Christensen is no longer in Kentucky, where he's headed now.
We don't have too many ways to get out and get exercise.
If you're feeling cooped up inside, there's one place you won't be able to spend time outside. What's off limits?
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 5.
Throwing all caution to the wind in the midst of a deadly pandemic is not acceptable.
The governor is once again asking people to listen to his executive order and stay at home. Good evening, I'm Jessica Coons. His plea comes as the weather gets warmer. He scolded people today for going into crowded areas outside. The Department of Public Health announced another 7 deaths today. That brings the state's death toll from coronavirus to 26. There's also another 673 confirmed new cases. So the total number of cases in Illinois is more than 2,500 across 37 counties. The governor announced today that the president has made federal emergency aid available to the state. That will make federal money available for crisis counseling. It also makes money available to local governments. The governor, also announced the new COVID-19 response fund. That will help nonprofits across the state serving people whose lives have been hit hardest by this pandemic. That includes emergency food and supplies, housing help, health services, and more.
This is a fund to support all Illinoisans. From Chicago to Carbondale, from Cairo to Rockford, no one is immune from this virus, and nobody should be left to recover without help. We will get through this if we work together and stand up for one another.
That fund has already raised almost $23 million. Lakeland College in Mattoon will have a special meeting tomorrow to vote on an agreement with Sarah Bush Lincoln Health Center. That vote is to make Lakeland Fieldhouse a medical surge facility only in case of emergency. WCIA 3's Andy Olson looks at what would need to take place for it to happen.
Lakeland Fieldhouse usually hosts Lakers volleyball, men's basketball, and women's basketball. But in case the coronavirus pandemic gets worse, the Fieldhouse could be turned into a temporary hospital. The agenda for the special meeting says it would be able to host at least 200 patients. Lakeland College says this is a re-up of a similar agreement they had with Sarah Bush Lincoln in 2009. If approved by the board, the agreement would last for 8 years, but it would only be activated in the case of a medical disaster. The vote and meeting is scheduled for Friday at 2 p.m.
That was Andy Olson reporting. We reached out to the State Farm Center in Champaign to see if this was a consideration for their space, too. They say they have no information of the facility being used in that way. U.S. attorneys' offices are warning people to be wary of coronavirus-related scams. Some of those scams include fake offers to sell respiratory masks, people asking for donations to provide stimulus funds, fake testing kits, cures, immunity pills, and free COVID testing in return for Medicare information. A federal task force has been created to investigate and prosecute those scammers. Dozens of hospital patients in Effingham and Decatur now have iPads thanks to the Decatur School District. WCIA 3's Courtney Bunting talked to IT employees at Decatur Memorial Hospital on how these will be used for more than just entertainment.
These iPads will allow patients in confinement to communicate with nurses and doctors while still limiting the amount of in-person contact. The iPads were extras that students didn't need anymore. District IT employees thought this would be a great way to put them to good use. They donated 128 of them to both Decatur Memorial Hospital and St. Mary's. We've talked about the need for personal protective equipment, or PPE. Those are things like masks and gloves. By using these iPads, nurses and doctors won't need to wear any PPE while still communicating with patients.
What we can utilize this technology for in a clinical setting is to have an iPad that's always in that room, that the patient and caregiver that may be kind of sequestered to that room can communicate with, the clinicians outside of the room.
In addition to the iPads, Decatur schools also donated goggles and gowns from their chemistry labs. In Decatur, Courtney Bunting, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
Staff at Decatur Memorial say they're grateful for the school district's creative thinking, and they say it's a reminder to all of us to think outside of the box when it comes to finding ways to help. We have an update on the man who kidnapped and killed U of I scholar Ying Zhang. Brent Christensen has been moved to a different prison. He's been housed in federal prisons in Oklahoma and Kentucky since he was convicted last summer. Now he's been moved to a facility in Central Florida called Coleman 2. It's known to house inmates who need extra protection or those who would be in danger in a regular federal prison. Coleman 2 is also home to former USA Gymnastics doctor and convicted serial child molester Larry Nassar. State police are still looking for answers 17 years after a missing 7-year-old from Streeter was found dead in the Vermilion River. Dalton Masarczyk disappeared 17 years ago to the day. Police investigated about 2,000 leads, many of those resulting in follow-ups outside of Illinois. Authorities say about 500 pieces of evidence have also been collected. A $50,000 reward remains in effect for info leading to an arrest. Anyone with information is asked to call police. A truck hit an overpass near Mahomet today. This happened around noon on Route 47 at the I-74 interchange. A semi towing 2 other trucks on a flatbed hit the bridge, and chunks of concrete fell onto the road below. No one was hurt. The warmer weather might have you wanting to go outside, but there's one place you cannot take your family. Plus, coronavirus is hitting people's pockets. Who's eligible to get over $1,000 to help?